real fast, Nick Sirianni he had his press conference, and he did apologize for yesterday. He said, "I'm sorry and disappointed how my energy was directed. My energy should be all in on coaching."
And I'm glad somebody talked to him because it makes it a little bit easier for me to do what I promised I'd do right now, which is just let it loose. And since Nick Sirianni and I agree, I don't feel like I'm going to be barred from the building for saying what I'm saying right now. And this is somebody looking at a guy who I like the guy, Nick Sirianni. People like the guy, Nick Sirianni. Like, there's a reason he got a head coaching job. And a lot of it was the guy he was, like the energy he brought, you know, the way he coaches, like, but when you become a head coach, you got to act like a head coach. Like, period, bro. I'm trying to put myself in. I said this yesterday. Put Nick Sirianni's brain in the other 31 coaches in the NFL's heads. Do a lobotomy, and name a coach in the NFL. Name a coach.
Mike Tomlin.
Okay, name another coach.
Sean Payton.
Jim Harbaugh.
Name another coach.
John Harbaugh.
Keep naming them. Yeah. Imagine any of these guys walking over to your own fan base talking shit at the end of the game because you beat the Browns. It's hard to imagine, especially when you consider that one of the most painful moments of this guy's tenure so far was walking out of that Chiefs stadium and poking the bear. What are you doing? They won the Super Bowl. You won a regular season game. So, like, I've never liked this part of it. I've never liked this energy. Act like a head coach. When the guy got a sudden haircut coming into the week, what did I say? What did I say? Out. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows my theory. My theory is when somebody gets a haircut suddenly or changes their facial hair or dyes their hair, you know, cuts their mustache suddenly, when Daniel Jones grows a beard, when Joe Burrow has dyed tips, like, things are not good. It's like a Madden curse. But it's realer because the reason you got the haircut is because something's going on, and you show up to the stadium looking like fucking Private Pile, and all of a sudden, like, you are wearing your emotions on your sleeve. You come out of the bye week, Jalen Hurts, and you have a real kumbaya moment. Like, it feels like everybody's like on the same page. We're gonna get our guys back. And the game ends with you talking shit to the fans. And, like, I saw Damian Woody today, and he called it clown behavior. You know, I don't want to put it that way, but I'm not saying he's a clown, but that's clown behavior. I'm not calling you a clown, but what I'm saying is that was clown behavior. I do agree with Damian Woody on that part of it. And for a guy that's not calling the plays and has gone through multiple coordinators, your job is to be the tone setter. To be the thermostat, not the thermometer, to be the guy that sets the temperature in the building, in the room. And when I got to watch vets watch you walk by to go talk shit to the fans after you won a game that, quite frankly, if there was a different coach in the locker room after the game, that coach would probably be like, hey, guys, that win counts. They all count in the NFL, but we made that really fucking hard. That to me is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous end to the game. And you know, then to go max protection at the podium. You know what I'm saying? And hey, listen, I'm all about families. I'm all about being a family man. And I think Nick's probably a great dad, and those kids love him. And I would never, don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but I'm not the first to point out that, like, when you got to go up there and answer tough questions after a game where you're probably on the hot seat and you had a moment at the end of the game, like, that did seem calculated to people. So I said last night in my breakdown, my immediate reaction was like, usually you tell people don't read your mentions. If you're an athlete, if you're a coach, if you're a president, don't get on the timeline and read your mentions. It's no good for you. I would tell Nick Sirianni to read his mentions. I would tell Nick Sirianni to hop online and peruse the timeline a little bit, because it's like he has no situational awareness, no self-awareness in that situation to know, like, what is the context of this win that we just earned? Tell me what the story is going to be tomorrow. And by the way, when it comes to the game, the entire story is different if at the end of the first half you run the ball and you kick a field goal, because that's not a game, It's not anywhere close to a game, and you're not sweating a one-score ball game into the fourth if that's not the case. And then after the game, and he might be covering for Jalen Hurts, because in the past, Jalen Hurts has made a couple checks in key situations that have come into question. Stuff that's kind of between him and the coordinator, or between him and the receiver in a key moment in a ball game. Maybe Jalen's the one making that check. Well, it's a terrible check. Let's go 4 verts with the entire fucking group walked up on the line of scrimmage and no hot. So whoever's making that check, it was asinine. And then to actually do it and carry it out in that situation, the thing it led to, I'm sitting on the couch in the live stream. Pull it up. Pull up my reaction to the live stream. I called that shit. I said, as soon as they, I go, drop back pass, you're going to take a sack, they're going to block the field goal. And that's exactly what happened in real time. It's exactly what happened in real time.
To the house.
It's so predictable. And shout out to Roddy McLeod. Yeah, I got to say that.
Wahoo,
my boy. Wahoo,
right.
the leading touchdown guy on the Browns.
Fire.
I don't know if that's a typo or I read that wrong.
No, he's got 2.
But then to claim that decision that almost lost your team the game against the Browns, like, maybe that's not the thing to do. If you were keeping it real, great, but maybe keep that to yourself. And if you were trying to protect your quarterback, maybe don't do that either, because like it's an indefensible check. It's like, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah. We were talking about embarrassing stats earlier. Here's one for you. The Eagles are the only team in the NFL that have yet to score
a touchdown in the first quarter.
And
that's becoming a thing. And then after the game, when he's asked about it, he kind of brushes it off. And, somebody's calling me right now. It might be Nick Sirianni. It's my dad. I'm not going to pick up. Nick might be like, bro, I'm watching a live watch. What the fuck? You called me a clown. I didn't call you a clown, Nick.
So funny.
I said this is clown behavior. But I don't think Nick's a clown. Nick got a team to a Super Bowl.
If you're watching, Nick, call in.
And ultimately, though, he's got to be the guy. If you're not the scheme guy, get the fuck out of the way and let Kellen call the plays. I want to see more motion. I want to see in the first quarter that we're not just wasting downs. Like, I know taking shots can soften the defense up so you can run the ball. And when you're getting man coverage, you want to take some shots. And you get A.J. Brown back, you want to take shots. But there was a play in the first 2 series. By the way, the first series was 3 and out. The second one, there's a bad snap. Barkley actually could have gone the distance on one of these plays. He ran right into Landon Dickerson and knocked him, slammed the fuck over. But there was a gap there that if he had been able to hit it, he's one-on-one with that safety, and I don't think the safety wins. So the point I'm making is, you want explosives. Sometimes it's just forcing the ball to that guy. And the gun runs weren't really working a lot of the day, and in some of the moments, like the perimeter stuff was working. I want you to come out like that drive that made it 20-13. When you felt like you needed a touchdown or the entire stadium was going to implode. Like, that's how I want you to come out in your first couple drives is, we got to get these first couple first downs or everybody in the stadium is going to kill us. And that's the way I felt like the vibe was after the half, when you go and you need a touchdown. You know what they did? They go perimeter run. They go quick game to AJ. They hit a crosser that turns into an explosive. So if you're getting man coverage, maybe work the underneath stuff. Like, you don't have to get it all in one play. And I know that the shot is a staple of the Philadelphia offense since he's been there. But to me, and I know Kellen Moore, part of it is taking shots, but I love treating those first possessions like it's the last possession of the game. When I play Madden, and usually that wouldn't fucking matter, but I feel like with everything Nick's doing right now, me as the coach in Madden, I could probably speak to this. I don't care if it's a 5-minute possession the first. I'm going to drive down and get points, because that defines the entire game. And for me, we're just wasting plays in the first couple possessions of ball games. And I don't know if the chat feels like I'm preaching the choir, but it's just, I love the shots, but let's possess the football like it means something early in the game. And so, like, the main point I want to make is, I like aggro Fangio. I like aggressive Fangio. I like that they came out of the bye week, and part of this is probably the Browns. But part of it to me is like, hey, I've seen what I have up front. Let's be more aggressive. Let's blitz more. 45% of the day yesterday, 30% on the year. So there's an uptick. Maybe part of that's the Browns, but a ton of man coverage. and Cooper DeJean and nickel. Did Lance Lynn just fall down and Muddy Waters?
So
Somebody check on Lance Lynn. Somebody check on. I don't mean the picture. Check on Lance Lynn in real life. Is he okay? All right, put him back up there and put Muddy Waters back up if you can. Just like put him somewhere. Yeah, put Muddy Waters up there.
Did a ghost just come in here or
I
something?
think so.
I think it was the ghost of Fangio being more aggressive. Cooper DeJean moving to slot corner. We talked about it. We called for it on Inside the NFL a couple weeks ago, and they did it. And this is something. Number one, he's better in traffic. He's better sorting through these stacks and bunches. And you can use him as a blitzer. He blitzed 3-4 times in the game. Almost came up with a big hit sack on the goal line, but more than anything, I think that was it was Milton Williams just resetting the line of scrimmage and making it so he couldn't see Deshaun anymore. I thought end of game, not to get lost. Great moment for the Eagles defense. You're playing for your life against the Browns, and they've got a couple shots at the end zone here. The first play, Cooper DeJean trailing Moore. He's motioning, sifting through the traffic, knifing to make the play in the flat. That's a big one. The next play, Nolan Smith, who I've said multiple times this year, I know like everybody wants sacks, but let's start with a good edge. Nolan Smith setting a really good edge. Third play, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who hadn't been great in man coverage, making a play on the ball. DeJean actually got routed on that play. It's just a secret. But overall, 5 sacks for the defense. That is a product of who you're playing, but also the coverage you're playing behind you. And BG's 36 years old, still playing well, still playing hard. They have a chance.
200th game, Chris.
Was that his
for
200th
BG.
game? Yeah.
His 200th game.
I thought I read that.
I think it's most in Eagles history.
Dude, congrats to BG and
God
like
bless
just
him.
a stalwart and somebody that like has come back year after year in different roles, but found a way on this group that's not very talented to have a big role. And I think like not to get lost in the shuffle. 3rd and 3. I think it was 3rd and 3. It was 3rd down. You're at like the what is it? It's third quarter. It's 10-10. They're gonna kick a field goal. You knock the play back 3-4 yards. Number one, you stop the drive. It's a jet sweep, but they missed the field goal. And so, like, these are the hidden plays in the game that add up in a low-scoring game where I want to shout out the defense. And I know the offense will probably – they're working through some things. But if you win this game 20-7, I think people are okay. They know the Browns' defense is pretty good. You know, they still got Myles Garrett and these guys. But when you're in a dogfight because of a decision you make at the beginning of the end of the second quarter, that comes back to the head coach. And then for him to whiff at the podium like that, like after the game, he's got to be better. He's got to be better, you know. And I thought Jalen did some good things. To take that shot at the end of the game, let's imagine they don't hit it. Cleveland's going to get the ball back with, over a minute to go. So I don't know what the take is, but this isn't a great team right now. And the head coach is not showing his best stuff.
And on top of that, you got some injuries. Jordan Mailata dealing with some kind of lower extremity. He was carted off. And then Dallas Goedert looked to have gotten banged up too.
No question. The injuries mattered. Dallas Goedert mattered, right? Lost him early. He didn't get a ton of snaps.
Yep.
But Stoutland's got to get this group going. Down another guy for maybe a period of time here, and one of the best tackles in the league. In my opinion, one of the better tackles in the league. So
next week it's a homecoming for Saquon. They play at the Giants,
and that's one that worries you because of the way the defense plays. I mean, that's one that worries you. If your offense is not on the same page, like defense can hang in there, you know. And hey, none of them are easy in the NFL, as we mentioned, playing the Giants or whoever they are. So this is when you got to win. You want to talk about must win? I feel like for the morale, for the soul of this team, it is a divisional game, and it is a must-win. And it's not from a standing standpoint. They're not washed if they don't win this game. But what?
Get the grill ready if they don't win this game.
You think they'll be cooked?
They're going to be on their way. Because if they don't win at the Giants,
You're lucky I didn't get the grill out for the Jags.
no, the Jags, they need the grill, bro.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm with you.
They're on
I'm
the Foreman grill.
I'm at the
All the moisture in the Jags is
I'm
just
at
getting.
the barbecue with you. I'm at the
Yeah,
barbecue
yeah.
with you.
Are the Cleveland's cooked, huh?
Yeah, bro. Like, I mean,
Okay.
until they get a new quarterback, basically they're cooked.
And I hate to sound all old school, but you got to act like a head coach. You know, like I've kind of come around to being this old school guy. I'm like you now, where it's like,
You have to, bro.
well, in general, it's just
Facts. You think Sirianni's cooked? If the Eagles lose to the Giants, is Sirianni cooked?
Bro, the fact that he already apologized is an indication that, yeah, you're probably cooked. Because if you're going to go out of your way to be like, oh, I'm that guy, I'm going to scream at fans or whatever, then lay in it. Lay in it. Like, don't apologize. Just be like, yo, that's me. That's my mentality. But it's not. And it's clear to see.
it's just you're imagining, bro, that we're head coaches, right? And he's our age, like
Exactly.
he's 30-something years old, right? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
or is he 40 yet? But I can tell you, I used to think, we were talking about it on the way in today, like I used to think that when you
43.
become a grown up, he's 43. You're just suddenly a grown up. That's not true. I'm 39, and sometimes I got to grow the fuck up. And sometimes in this room, I act like a child. And sometimes, but the stakes are different when you're a head coach.
And maybe
And
it's
so
like,
the point is, like, whatever you're going through developmentally in your life, where like you're growing up and you're figuring out, like, because people still develop in their 40s, bro.
but like you said,
You gotta table that shit. Whatever you're going through, feeling pressed, feeling like you're grinding an axe. It is the job of the players to grind the axe, go out and play with the battery in their bag. It's not the job of the coach.
and it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it's just that, like you said, like you gotta. Maybe he does need to be on social media, or he should see situations, because we just seen this in college with the Michigan coach,
Yeah.
or the coach going over to the sideline and cussing
He's
at
not the head
somebody.
coach.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but it's still that, like, they made a big deal about it. The guy got fired or whatever happened, and it's just one of those things where it's not a good look.
No, it's a bad look. It's a bad look. If you're a veteran on the team, go ahead, Bo.
Football's an emotional game, man. I have no problem with a head coach like getting emotional on the sideline, whether it's screaming at a fucking player if they have it coming. But it's like, it's just a context of yelling at the fans after a sloppy win against a bad team with everything else that's going on. Like, people
Read
in
the
Philly are
room.
frustrated. People in Novacare are frustrated. I think if he did that same thing after a big win or like a blowout win, it's a completely different narrative.
Yeah, because
Like,
then you're like,
I
they
agree
really
with you.
kicked their
But the
ass. I
fan-
can't
the
argue
fan-
with them.
But at the same token, the fans aren't chirping them if you guys are having a big win. I don't think.
Oh no, but had they blown the doors off these guys, I think we'd be a little different about it. You would be like, "Come on, Nick, we got to get rid of that
Yep.
stuff." But it almost feels like you lost the game, and then you're out there talking shit like you won it. And not to mention, like, there's only one way that you can gloat after that game, and it's 80-20. Like, that's how bad the Browns are. Like, that's how much of a clown show this organization is. So Nick Sirianni is the Floyd Mayweather of reading the room. You know what I mean?
God damn.
Is that bad?
He should have pulled a Connor. I would like to
I just think-
apologize to absolutely no one.
Why is no one talking about the
He got a
Browns
haircut,
defense?
wanted to act like a whole new guy, you know?
No, I just said that. Najib Carter. I said the Browns defense is good. Had you won the game 20-7, everybody'd be happy. You got to listen. You know?
Nick's full response. What I was really doing, I was trying to bring energy yesterday. Energy, enthusiasm yesterday. I'm sorry and disappointed how my energy was directed at the end of the game. My energy should be all in on coaching and motivating, right?
He's right. Now let's never see it again. You know? And if he's going to be here for a while, what they're going to have to do is turn it around to where they're winning games you're supposed to win and winning them in ways that it looks like what you want to see. And they haven't looked like that since he really jawed at the fans at Arrowhead last year.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is the closing of the loop. You know, you had to do it after a home game, take your medicine, and now the curse is over.